Hey everybody, it's Matt from Cykel. Today we just want to talk about if you're on the side of the trail and you got a flat tire, what you should have with you and how to change it really quick, and a couple different tips on changing tires out whether you're on the side of the trail or not. So first off, if you got a tire and you're flat, it's a sad day. There's a couple things you're going to need. You should probably have a tire lever in your pack. There's this kind that we have here, or there's this kind from Crank Brothers. I personally really like this kind for a reason I'll show you in a second. The second thing you probably should have is some sort of an inflation device and also a tube. I personally really like these frame pumps that go on the side of your bag. You can also use the CO2 cartridge, but the frame pumps are nice because you can also just adjust your tire pressure. If you're out there and you're like, dang, my tire pressure is a little bit low or whatever, you can just add a little bit of air instead of wasting a whole CO2 cartridge. So first thing we're going to do if your tire's flat is you're going to get your wheel off, you're going to break the bead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it in all the way around. And so I'm squeezing it into this little center channel that's going to be inside of every rim. And you want to do both sides. Because your tire right now, if you can see here, is sitting up on this little ridge. So the ridge is right there. There's a channel and a ridge. If the tire's sitting up on the ridge, and you try and get a tire lever in there, you're never going to get that tire off, or you're going to break your lever or bend your rim. So both sides, all the way around, and just work your fingers. It should kind of like flop you loose. Next step, you're going to grab your tire lever. I'm going to grab this one for right now. I'm just going to pop it in. The valve is over there. Usually you don't want to start at the valve, especially if you have a tube in there, because it's really easy to pinch your tube. Stick it in there, and you want to kind of just fold it back so you get a little lip. So see, I'm going to fold that back. Stick my tire lever in there, and you want to get it in tight. You don't want to shove it all the way in, because if you shove it all the way in and you have a tube in there, you're going to puncture that tube again. It's already flat, so it probably doesn't matter, but and then just fold her this way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it towards me. Really nice and easy. And then I'm going to keep sliding it around, sliding it around. It's easier on the ground. But you're just going to do that until it comes free. And you can just pull on it all the way around. Okay, and you just need to get one side off to change the tube. So your tube comes out, and what you want to do is figure out where that tube got punctured. So you want to make sure you get your hand going around in there, make sure nothing's sharp. If you have a little pump, you can inflate your tube up a little bit and just see where air's hissing out. Sometimes there's a pinch flat, and that's just if you run your tube a little bit too low of pressure, hit a big bump, and that tube's just going to get pinched between the sidewall here and not. So figure out where that's coming from. If something's in your tire, get it out of there. There's nothing worse than putting a new tube back in there, inflating it up, and it going flat again because there's a piece of thorn or rock or something still stuck in there. So another thing you want to do is just shake it out really good. If you're on the side of the trail, there's a pretty good chance you got some dirt in there. So shake it out, make sure it's all clean. Set it down somewhere nice and clean. Grab your tube. If you got a little pump, pump it up. For the sake of time, I'm going to use my shop inflator. Put a little air in your tube. I'm going to give it a little bit of structure, kind of like this. If you put it in totally flat, it's going to be really easy to pinch it. So I'm just going to have it with a little bit of a structure like this. Find your valve hole, and you want to start there. And then I'm going to just pop my valve in first, slide it right through, and then I'm going to pull the tire over the top of that. Then if you got something to rest it on, that's really nice. If you can find a stump or something. And then just lay your tube all the way around and in. And then you just want to kind of push it down. And you want to start at the valve. So when you fold it on, use your thumbs, start at the valve. And then you're just going to use your thumbs and go all the way around. And when you get to about halfway, your tube usually wants to pop out like this. So just kind of gently push it back in. And then keep using your thumbs going around. And then you get to a spot like this, you're like, man, it's kind of tight. Let's use your tire lever now. So this is where I really like this lever over this lever. It's got this little grip on it. So you can stick it through. It's kind of like a, yeah, anyway. Then what you can do is just grab. A lot of guys will pry like this. That's a really fast way to get your tire pinched. So what you can do is just go from the side here and then just push and use your body weight and pinch the one side here so it doesn't fold off. You just gently push forward. Sometimes it slips out, that's okay. But if you just push forward, you're not going to ever pinch your tube doing that. And so then after you got it all in, just squeeze everything to the middle. What that's doing is just making sure that the tube, since it's got a little air in it, is coming up, and you're not getting any tube that's going to get pinched when you start getting air into it. So squeeze it in all the way around, back to your valve, and then just start adding some air. When you're adding air, if you're using an air compressor, you want to go slow. So you don't want to just put all the air in at once. You want to get a little bit of air in, and then stop, and then go back around and just check. Because some tires and some rim combinations, one part of the tire will pinch down and in, or it'll stick, and then the other side will pop out, and what can happen is you literally blow it off the rim. If you're using your little hand pump, you're probably not going to run into that issue because it's going in so slow, but sometimes we'll just go around and kind of roll it forward and back, and that's just a good way to make sure everything is even. We'll finish her off, add an air. A lot of your 29er tubes, you're going to have to go up to about 40 pounds to get your tire to actually seat, and you're going to start hearing little pops, click, 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 all the way around. That's the hook. That's the hook of the tire meeting up with the hook of the rim. And so there should be like a little line kind of going all the way around. If you can see that line going all the way around, you're in good shape. If you can see the line going around and all of a sudden in one spot it kind of dips in, no line, that spot's not fully seated yet. So you're probably going to need to add a little air, or maybe just use your fingers and kind of pull on it, because you want your tire to be seated all the way. And that's really it. Then you can just put it back on your bike. So if you got any questions about seating tires or whatever, feel free to come in and ask us. So thanks.